Welcome back to the only podcast where one of us has great taste in candy and the other doesn't. I'm not going to say which is which. I'm Travis, and I'm here with Jen yet again.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I have the great taste. That's the spoiler. It was me.
Great taste, less filling. Welcome to the only podcast in the world that talks about both candy, YouTube growth, and everything else. My name is Travis. Of course, Jen is here, and we love to help you grow your YouTube channels. We're going to do a quick hit here. Some news came out. I don't know if this is true. This thing is, it's hard to verify something like this, but let's talk about it anyway. Allegedly, TikTok is now the second most streamed platform above Twitch in this first quarter of 2025. YouTube being first, apparently TikTok second, and then Twitch being third. This is very interesting. Whether or not it's true is hard to verify.
A little hearsay.
Hearsay. But the fact that there's any data at all that would even back that up is interesting. I guess I didn't even realize it. I guess I knew their TikTok had live stream, but I didn't really think much about it because I don't use it. I know you've ticked the occasional talk.
Yeah, TikTok lives are like where it's at.
What happens on a TikTok live?
Anything.
Oh.
Like literally anything. Like people go live all the time doing all kinds of stuff. You don't need any kind of relationship to that person to like watch what they're doing. It's so disconnected. And of course some are not, but it's literally like an unfiltered YouTube video in that sense where you're discovering content and you're just watching it live.
Do you think the way they do their live streams in some way is better than the horizontal or vertical format on YouTube live streaming? Does it feel entertaining, or does it just feel like a bunch of people just doing things that don't make any sense?
I've never seen a YouTube vertical live.
Okay. Well, what do you think? Well,
I've seen, like, I've had creators that have experimented with them, so I've seen that, but I've never been on YouTube because I don't watch shorts.
You're probably not the only one.
Who have never seen one.
Right. You're probably not the only one. So with that being said, what about TikTok lives are interesting to you? Because I want to understand this as a viewer of them, occasional viewer. Like what's the thing? Like what makes it interesting or cool or whatever?
I don't know. You're just kind of like, it's so passive. You're just kind of like popping in, seeing what's going on, and then leaving.
Oh, very disposable.
Like it's not, that's what I'm saying. Like there's no community, there's no viewer connection. Like it's just an unedited video.
Yeah, I feel like I've said this for years that short form content really leads to. It's very hard to have an actual community behind it.
Yeah,
you can have followers and stuff, but really they haven't really built a connection to you in most cases. I think there's a ton and more, quote, large TikTokers that have a very empty audience. They don't really have a genuine connection to them than there are smaller YouTubers that actually have an audience that really cares about them because it's so disposable. It's so quick. It's like, I've watched it for 30 seconds. What kind of connection can I have with you in 30 seconds? I don't. I connect with the content. I might think it's funny. Maybe there are the occasional people that have like that je ne sais quoi.
I think you could stumble upon people that you're just like, oh, I just like vibe with you. But all in all, like it's not really the point. You're really watching for whatever they're doing or saying. And like, how many times have you thought of like a funny TikTok or reel or short, and then like you couldn't find that to save your life? Like you would have this has happened to me so many times.
Right.
Where if you didn't send it to someone, like that's gone on the internet forever.
You're never going to find it again.
No.
Yeah. It's interesting because like as you're talking about live stream on TikTok and just kind of anything, I'm like, it might be kind of fun to just randomly do some live streams and just whatever. But to what you just said, it's like if you can't even find them later, not that they can't be found, but like it's harder for the average person to find them. It almost feels like even the live streams are disposable. And for me, I always go, then what's the point? That's always what I come back to.
Money.
Now, to be clear, well, okay.
Money.
But like, how much money can like a smaller creator, and I don't know the answer to this, I'm not saying this to be a leading question, but how much money do you think a smaller creator could make live stream on TikTok? And I guess when I say smaller, that could be anything. That could be 10,000 followers. I
don't know. I don't know like the monetary rates on TikTok, but
can't the people like gift things and stuff?
Yeah.
Have you ever gifted anything to a live streamer?
No.
On any platform?
Oh yeah, I send like super chats to my friend and stuff like all the time.
Oh, your friend, but this is your friend.
Yeah, never a stranger.
Interesting. See, I've super chatted a lot of people on YouTube. I've super chatted a lot of creators I've watched for various reasons. Just depends on what it's.
No, I've never participating crowdfunding anyone that I didn't know actually.
So you're basically money laundering.
I am money laundering to all of my creator friends.
Which is wild.
Except they don't get to take home half of it.
That's what I'm saying. So that's the funny thing. You're actually paying YouTube to pay your friend, which is kind of wild.
Well, what happens is it starts a train. If I send a $20 super chat, the super chats are flowing in. It's a strategy. It's not like, here's $20, you're so poor.
Right.
Like, no.
Very smart. How often does this work?
I mean, anytime. Like, my friends are live on any platform.
So
we all do it for each other. Like, it's a community tactic.
Wait, so then other people naturally seem to super chat?
Oh, yeah.
I believe that.
I mean, back in the day, all of us were financially crowdfunded. we did not make like an income from like ads.
Yeah, you were basically like, it's almost like, yeah, you're basically doing like a pyramid scheme between each other.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Like people are like, oh, like you hear those stories where like smaller channels and stuff like they make so much money, or like maybe you want to go sign up for a course or something. It's like, I've made $20,000 with 10,000 subscribers or something.
Yeah.
But like, it's true. It happens. Like, it's just looking past outside AdSense.
Very smart. And I guess you could do
But that's also like deep community. Like, you have to have a strong community.
Which is interesting because we just did an episode.
We just did an episode on community.
You need to watch that.
And we didn't talk about crowdfunding.
Yeah, so we kind of left that out. That's all right, but that's why you watch one episode to watch the other episode.
So every episode is like unofficially a call to action to the
previous one. Yes, usually what you do in a lot of YouTube videos is you do point back to an older video. We do it on accident. You're supposed to do it on purpose.
Yeah,
we do it completely on accident because we forget to talk about things.
Yeah,
but I feel like
so
that's
crazy.
Okay.
So the live stream on TikTok, I don't know. I believe it. I don't know. Do people still like scroll on Twitch? Like, who's discovering things on Twitch?
Twitch is definitely more about communities. And for a lot of people who stream on YouTube and Twitch tend to like the way the community is built on Twitch better than YouTube. But ironically, I think the reason for that is one of the strengths of YouTube, which is there is a discovery engine for YouTube. Many times I have been recommended live streams of people that are only like 10 people streaming, only 10 people watching. You almost never see that on Twitch. Like everything that's on the side of like, you might like these channels, all like hundreds of people. So like they're bigger channels. You see this on YouTube all the time. I see smaller YouTubers live streaming all the time. I always get that. But the problem with that is I'm a random person going in there. And if I'm a mean person, I might just say mean stuff.
True.
Which a couple episodes ago, talking to Trisha Hirschberger, she mentioned the like algorithmic audience and how she feels sorry for those people, which is why she mainly streams on Twitch to her community. Because when she streams elsewhere, there's so many, quote, random people and a lot of those people tend to be toxic, which is really interesting. So the question is TikTok really second? But even if they aren't now, they could be later. But it sounds like the community-based streaming in some ways is best on Twitch. Let us know what you think of that. Certainly send us a message. But we actually have a question from one of you. And you can always send us a question from The Boost or by emailing us at theboost@vidIQ.com. And this one is from Jace.
Yeah, so this one is going to kind of set off the whole... portion of this episode at least, talking about retention. And pretty much, to sum this up, is your retention good or bad?
It's terrible.
And how do you know? How do you even know what's good or bad? And I saw this so much in coaching because retention graphs are like a sacred thing. It's not even like...
I love them.
They're so secret. They're just like not talked about though.
Right.
They feel like a sacred thing. Like, who's going around, like, starting a, I don't know, group chat, just sending each other retention graphs?
I would.
Like,
I love retention graphs.
That's a tough one. So, it's hard to know what is actually... The same way it's like, what's a good CPM? What's a good RPM? Like, It's so different depending on the content and the creator, and there's so many variables that go in it. It's hard to know what's good or bad. So, what is a good or bad retention graph? Where do we start? Let's explain.
So in this one, Jace is talking specifically about shorts. So that we got to be really specific about the fact that depending on the length of video, good means something completely different. So in these screenshots he's showing things above 100%.
Okay.
It's important to know you're almost never going to see that on a long form content video. Mm-hmm. It's very rare you're ever going to see something above 100. But in shorts, you should almost always see something above 100 if you want a good performing short. So to understand like what good is very relative. Very relative. It's relative to the content, the length of the content, the style of content, where the content was watched. And the only thing that really matters in the end is did you get more impressions? I feel like, because you can't control views. Views are a matter of someone's choosing to click your thumbnail and title based off the topic you selected. You have control over the thumbnail, title, and the content. YouTube then looks at all that stuff and how people interact with it and gives you more impressions. You can say, I want more views. Really, you want more impressions. Views is something that's out of your control. Impressions are too, but you really want more impressions for what you're putting into YouTube. Once you get those and you get more views, if you get more impressions, you've succeeded. Your content, your thumbnail, title, and everything matched. Your retention is the thing you look at after the fact to go, did people even care? Or was this like a clickbait? Did people click the first 10 seconds and go, this is what I wanted to watch? And then they watch and they're like, why am I watching Joe the plumber? Well, I wanted to watch a chocolate cake video.
That's true. So it sounds like we're kind of debunking a lot of retention myths, a lot of retention expectations, and starting with getting familiar with your retention graph. We'll even just like back it up and explain, for people that are, new to even looking at these, what we're actually looking at. And this graph is, of course, your video. And the line going through is how many people are still watching it. And the dips are people skipping ahead and or abandoning. And then, of course, the spikes are people clicking back. And all of these things can kind of be for good or bad things. So spikes don't necessarily mean a good thing. It can actually be like a frustrated viewer who can't understand what you're saying.
That's true.
It's just clicking back for whatever reason. Maybe you had text on screen that was not long enough and someone couldn't read it. So while it may give you a spike, it might not be a positive viewing experience, but typically spikes are something that people rewatched or skipped ahead to watch. So a lot of times retention graphs, depending on the type of video, have an entirely different line. Like, we're not looking at a standard slope. If we're looking at a video, if we put out a video that was like, here's 10 ways to grow your YouTube channel, everyone's going to skip ahead to every single reason. And it's going to look like this.
And we put timestamps on all our videos. And so you'll see these little tent looking things at the timestamps because people are clicking around, figuring out what they want to watch.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So does that make it good or bad?
I think it really depends. It's not necessarily a bad thing. And by the way, people go, well, won't that hurt your average view duration?
Oh, I love this.
Well, yes, but does that mean that it hurts your impressions, which is what you really want, to get more views? Not necessarily.
No.
As a matter of fact, if you are giving people what they want, there are other signals that YouTube takes a look at when someone's watching something to indicate whether they're going to get you more impressions. When we say something's a good video, it's relative, right? So I guess really what I'm saying is you're getting more impressions to get more opportunities for views.
Yes.
So if someone skips to the middle of your video, but everyone skips to the middle of your video and then watches a whole long section and then maybe comes back to your channel later, but doesn't watch the rest of that video, is that a bad video? Not necessarily. If it grew your channel and grew your views because YouTube's like, you know what? People got what they wanted to out of that video, even though they didn't watch the whole thing. That's okay. Most videos that get like tons of views, the average view duration retention is bad. It's very bad because it's being shown to new people, which is a good thing, right?
Yes.
The more new people that see your videos, the worse your retention becomes.
And the more people in general who just see it, the worse it becomes.
Yes.
We see this a lot where people send in like these beautiful, beautiful retention graphs and, they finish at like 50, 60% and there's barely any drop off, but it has, 50 views. And those are like the 50 most loyal, most dedicated. You could put out any single video in the world and your retention graph is going to look the same. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean you've earned the right to more impressions.
Yes, you can have excellent retention and not get any more impressions. And people will often say, well, okay, my retention is really good. It's higher than ever before, but I didn't get hardly any views. I have a video. I wish I could remember what the exact number is. So impressive. The retention was so good because I specifically went out to try to make it high retention at the end. I think it's like a 4 or 5 minute video. And I think I had like 70% of the people at the last 20 seconds of the video, which is insane. One of my lower performing videos, despite the fact that like it had been targeted well and all this other thing, it just didn't work out that way. So why? There's a lot of reasons, and some of which goes back to the thing that Jen and I say a lot of times is some things are just what they are, and you can't worry about them. There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. Did you do a good job?
Congrats.
Congrats. You get your 12 views. It is what it is. But I think you can learn things from it. So I learned something early on from retention graphs when I used to watch, when I used to make videos and look at the retention graph to see what was I doing wrong or right. I found that if I was off the camera too long, my retention dropped. But if I was on the camera too long, my retention would drop. So I had to find this balance between showing B-roll and then showing myself in this balance that people seem to get to like. If I was away too long, I think maybe they weren't connecting with me as much. If I was on too long, they weren't understanding what I was talking about because I wasn't visually showing it.
Okay.
So the mix seemed to work out after I figured that out. And that's where you can use retention graphs to
I like that.
help
I like that
yourself.
you used it as a creator to how to better yourself as a creator.
Yeah.
And keeping your audience in mind. But you know who I want to blame for this? Mr. Beast.
Beast. I knew you were going to say it.
Mr. Beast started this crap.
Mr. Beast editing.
Yeah. Mr. Beast started like, if your video doesn't finish at 50% retention, it sucks.
Yeah, everything sucks to him, though.
But that's an unrealistic expectation.
It is.
I have seen several. I still have screenshots of over 1 million view videos that have the retention between 4%
Wow, I've never seen that low before. Wow.
to 14%.
And what's the length of the video generally?
16, 17 minutes.
Wow.
And like I'm talking steady through like 12% through the whole video,
Wow.
3% through the whole video, immediate click off and continue to be surfaced.
Wow.
Insane. And
Yeah.
I mean, there's always an exception to the rule for like that extreme. But I would say on average, I've seen like million plus retention graphs in the 20s if they're lucky.
Now, here's another thing a lot of people don't talk about when they talk about retention graphs. The problem with the general retention graph you look at is that it's aggregate. And this is not necessarily helpful. Here's what I mean by that. It's taking in all of your sources and all of your audience and putting it into one graph when that's not really necessarily a great way of looking at it. The better way is to knock it down by traffic source and or subscriber version. So for example, we might look at subscribe versus unsubscribe. I look at those average view durations all the time because I want to know what new people think of the content versus the people that come here all the time.
Yeah, remember the old people are going to watch it.
They're probably going to watch the vast majority of it.
Yeah.
Now, if that's for some reason lower than the new, then something's going on.
Something's off, you're right.
Made them mad or you've done something that they're not down with, which is interesting. But you want to kind of have your new viewer duration as close as possible to the people that come and watch you all the time for obvious reasons. That means that people who don't know who you are still connect with your content. So
if you could see that like within a minute, I feel like that's a
win.
Crazy goal.
It's
like
amazing.
That's really good. And we're talking about on desktop when you can break down your analytics a little bit. You don't have this access on mobile.
Right.
But these are the things like if you want to take it to the next level when you're talking retention graphs, these are the things that you're looking at. Because I mean we're all YouTube obsessed and we're all, this is fun sometimes. Should you let it dictate all your decisions? No. Don't get carried away.
Right.
Enjoy it if it's fun for you. If it's not, stay out of the Seymour
This is deep. This is the deep swamp. We're going to go into deep swamp. So not only do you have to think about the fact that it's aggregate, whether it's your subscribers unsubscribed, there's also traffic sources. So search, which we've talked about before, is very intentional. Those tend to be shorter. So in other words, if your video is about a review of something, you'll notice that generally speaking, when you look at the average view duration from search, it's going to be shorter than everything else. And the reason for that is someone searched for something to get an answer. Their intention was only to get the answer and leave. They weren't there to watch whoever you are to talk about whatever you're talking about. Browse is usually higher and suggested is usually higher because...
I was going to say, I think suggested is the highest. I'm glad that we agree.
It can be, yeah. Because browse generally is home screen, which means YouTube algorithmically knows that viewer is likely to like your content. Suggested tends to be in a binge session. So 9 times out of 10, that person's already watching a bunch of videos and is there to watch videos, right? So you tend to get longer view durations.
You get the more dedicated viewer, but I think you get the bigger compliment with browse.
Oh, for sure. 100%. 100%.
Browse is like, oh my gosh, you picked me.
Yeah, it really feels that way. Yeah.
And then suggested was like, I was up next.
That's right.
And
that's
you
right.
like me.
You like this? I got something else for you.
Those are those moments where like you're watching something, you're like, oh, I'd never found this creator before.
Yes. Yes.
That's like that binge session.
And it's so hard because I think in the last episode we talked about, someone said they changed their strategy to go from search to browse. Yeah, which is not necessarily easy. It's easy to understand once you understand it, that intention of a viewer and how you either give them their answer and let them go, or try to hook them to have them stick around. Once you understand that, then you can look at these graphs and go, I understand why this worked and why this didn't work. Another thing about retention graphs is, and here's a little known thing, once upon a time, YouTube was testing, showing you when you were getting subscribes and likes and all this other stuff. They were testing it to see if they would release it. That's a fun little thing. It was amazing. I wish that they would have released this. They did not. I did get to test it for a while.
It's an interesting thing. I wonder, maybe it just wasn't worth pursuing.
They try to...
Like, what do you really do with the information?
It was really good information, but I will say this. It rarely changed. So let me give you some slices of pies and tell you what they are. What the information was that I got away from it. Number one thing I found out about using this is when you ask for subscribes, most people subscribe. That kind of surprised me somewhat. In that previous to the actual data being able to see it, there was this thing that says if you ask for people to subscribe, they might subscribe. And then there was a lot of people saying, no, that doesn't really work, whatever. Well, I've seen the data, 100% it works. Yes, it does. It is definitive that more times than not, if you ask for subscribes, you will get subscribes. Now, does that mean you should always do it? Well, that's a different question. I'm not answering that question.
That's interesting.
I'm answering, if you ask, if you build it, will they come? Yes. The answer is yes. Secondarily, the vast majority of likes on a video happen in like the first 10 seconds.
Ooh, I have something I definitely want to talk about when it comes to likes.
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
I have a friend visiting for the weekend.
Okay.
And
you have friends?
A couple.
I'd like to get
Not
one.
a lot.
One time.
A couple.
Someday I want one.
So they're visiting.
Okay.
And technically I should say it's my husband's friend.
Oh, I was going to say.
friend by association.
Yeah. Friend by marriage.
Yeah, right. Contractual friendship.
By legal.
And we were talking about YouTube, and he is, a YouTube watcher, consumes a lot of YouTube. Never likes a video.
I rarely do either.
His viewing behavior, which obviously I dug into, was he only likes a video. Doesn't matter if you tell him, doesn't matter. Like, it has to exceed his expectations.
Okay.
In why he clicked on that video.
That's fair. For
a thumbs up.
You know what
That's insane to me, because like as a cultural thing, we like videos before they even start.
So I don't.
You what?
I didn't. First of all, I didn't know this was a thing until I saw this metric. So.
Oh my gosh, I'm so curious how our audience is like split on this. This is wild.
Yeah. I would leave us a comment or an email and let us know. Do you like a video like at the very beginning? So, all that to say, when I had access to this tool and I was like, why are people liking things at the very beginning? I realized that it doesn't even matter if you ask for likes, because the people who are going to like it are already going to like it. This is different from subscribe. The subscribes are always fell within 15 seconds of asking for a subscribe. I was able to see that on the retention graph. But likes were always bunched around the beginning. Mm-hmm. So people were doing it, as you say, just like at the beginning. Like, and I was like...
It's a cultural thing. Like, I like a video before I start watching it. It's like a YouTube, like, culture.
I rarely...
That's how I would describe it.
That's wild. Is that even to today?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, is this only for people you're subscribed to, or just any video?
See, I think what happens is now that my viewing has changed to like only TV, I'm not doing that behavior because I'm not liking on TV.
Sure, right. You can, but yeah.
That's just, I'm just going to say, like, I don't have like the remote in my hand and I'm not like clicking up to the side
Right, yeah.
It's a little much.
It's a little much.
It's a little much. The like's not doing anything for you. You're fine without it. But other than that, if I'm watching on desktop or on my phone, 100% still to this day. Even
channels you're not necessarily familiar with.
Unless I search something. If I search something, then it's a test.
Then you're waiting.
Then it's genuinely a test.
You got to earn this.
Because I feel like search videos are like they're sketchy.
They can
like
be.
They're so clickbaity, like you don't know if you're actually going to get your answer.
So here's what I think Rob Wilson brought this up. This is really interesting that you say this. I wonder if, and YouTube could be doing this. We don't know if they're doing this next thing or not. When they see Jen watching on TV, which they can tell.
Yeah.
They know that you're watching on TV. And
Of course they can tell. They say, welcome back.
yeah, welcome back on TV. And you do take the time to like.
Yeah.
Do you think that's
Like
weighted?
a hyper like.
Right. Is that like, well, she almost never likes on
Holy
TV.
crap.
That's actually weighted heavier than her overly liking on phone, which she does all the time. She's a strumpet for likes on.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, she just gives it away.
Oh my God, she doesn't dislike or not like
No,
anything.
she just loves all the
loves
things.
all content.
So they don't even pay attention to that.
And then on
But-
TV,
But oh my God,
they're
she
like,
likes
oh my
something.
God, this is
Double
new
weighted.
super chat.
It really is. Do
I'm
you
just gonna
think?
start commenting. Just want to let you know, I liked this on my TV.
But I feel like, don't you think that's actually even a good way to
If
weight
someone
it?
said that to me, I would be like,
What? You actually hit up on
my
your remote
God.
and then over and then
I would
clicked
be
it?
honored. Like nobody's doing that.
No one's doing that.
Let's do it.
But I wonder if YouTube's doing that. They're like,
That
well,
would be really interesting, though. And I feel like it's probably something, I feel like TV, platform, integration, everything, the user experience is something that we're going to see a huge, huge change with now
yeah.
that,
It's doing
I mean,
so well.
the world is different when it
Yeah.
comes to this year alone.
It's doing so well.
And I think that we're going to see, I don't know what those changes would be, but I think that's going to be a really, really big thing because the things we're talking, even leaving a comment. I don't leave a comment if I'm watching on TV.
I don't. Well,
if I
even
really
watching
have to, I will go back on my phone at some point and leave a comment. But like, it's got to be so funny or like some like.
So, how often are you leaving comments in general?
I'll leave a comment on like. I feel like. See, it's hard to say if it's on TV. Then
Well, forget about TV.
no, if
for a
it's
minute.
not on TV, I'll leave a comment on every single video
You
I
just
watch.
give away everything, all your engagement. Your engagement is almost meaningless. You just
I
give
literally
it away.
no, because it's not like a generic comment.
What do you get into? What you watched? And you're saying,
Yeah, like I would.
you're the nicest. Viewer.
I no, it's always like a very specific part. Like if there's no part of the video that like gets me in any way, then I'm like, okay, this wasn't a good video for me. Number one, but I won't leave like just a made up comment.
Do you like it if it wasn't connecting with you? Is it too late? Do you take it off?
Do I retract my
Do you
like?
ever retract your like?
Retract the like.
Have you retracted your like?
I would do that on the search base, but I've done that on search based content. If I've noticed and it was like a bad video.
Okay.
Like I wouldn't thumbs down it, but I would be like,
So do you not thumbs down?
I unliked.
But do you not thumbs down?
I don't thumbs down anything because I think content is like subjective. Like just because I didn't think it was good, like that thumbs down is not going to alter my homepage. I'm going to say I'm not interested. If that surfaces again, I'm going to say I'm not interested so that YouTube is like, got it.
Okay, so we'll try not to.
But I'm not going to hurt the creator for like what they think is
which is
good content.
And certainly I don't, we talked about not all content is for everyone, it's for anyone. I never leave like a hateful comment. Like I don't even understand the point of that.
Oh my gosh, that's like crazy to me.
It's just wild to me because I mean, we don't get a lot of that. We get it every so often someone will say something, but it's like you literally spent the time to say something. Like if you didn't like it, why didn't you just stop watching it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really understand the mentality of like leaving like I mean, definitely hateful content. I get constructive feedback.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's fine.
You got to be able to handle stuff if you want to put yourself on the internet.
Absolutely.
And people are welcome to their opinions, especially if you open the door for that. If you tell people, let me know what you think, well, you better be ready for when they tell you what they think.
Be careful what you're asking for. You might get it. Goodness gracious.
But I don't get that. But you don't leave comments. You got to start leaving comments.
Every once in a while, it's pretty rare for me to like or leave a comment. So if you do get one from me, that's a pretty big deal. There must be a reason.
It's so funny.
I do talk in live streams, though. I will chat in live streams from time to time. Actually, more frequently than I'll leave comments.
I mean, that's good. But like comments, I mean,
Are
I
you
can
shaming
get,
me?
I am comment shaming you, actually.
Are you viewer shaming my habits?
Unless you're watching content that is like, I mean, you're just watching like million plus video after video after video where like at that point, and depending on how old the video is, like, is it really even going to be noticed or acknowledged?
So what's interesting is it depends on what content I'm watching. There was a time when I was hot and heavy in my content that I stopped leaving comments on other creators in my niche's content, not because I didn't want to, but because it became a distraction in the comment section. Because viewers knew who I was in that niche. So then they would comment to me and stuff. not always nice, sometimes nice, but sometimes not. And I'm like, that's just a distraction. Now I feel like I'm being distracting, and I don't want that for that creator. Like I was leaving a quote, like, this was great, whatever.
See, it was a generic comment.
No. I mean, I was being specific. I'm being generic now. Back then, I was being authentic. I was being genuine, right? So I stopped. With outside of my niche, I would leave comments pretty freely, but within my niche, I wasn't. And it was something that was really interesting because I had never, in all the things that were in the non-existent YouTube handbook of like things to expect as a YouTuber, that was not one of them. It was not in there. People are, for better or worse, going to recognize you in your niche. And if you, no matter what you do, someone's going to be mean to you. So for example, we're talking about retention graphs a little bit here. We're almost done that. We're talking about other things now, but you might see drop-offs in certain things when you say something particularly hot take-ish, which I actually like people taking a definitive. I feel like in content creation, if you want good performing stuff, you take a hard line on something. You pick a lane.
I think that's true.
And you will find that you'll get more success there. But when you do that, just know people out there coming for your neck. So when you say something, your retention graph might go, everything's great, candy corn's good, oh, it's down, everyone left. And we take those because as soon as we say Cadbury eggs are great, it goes right back up. And then we brought everyone back.
My favorite now are the like YouTube disclaimers everyone's like making before they say an opinion or after it. It's like, ugh, just say what you want to say. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, that's like me being like, well, I love candy corn, but it's okay if you don't like candy corn. And if you kind of like it, that's also okay.
Yeah.
But if you've never had it, I don't want you to feel bad because you've never had it. So I didn't want to offend you if you don't have the opportunity to try it because you live overseas. So I think candy corn's good, though.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much. Just say you like it and
which
everyone
is like,
else.
Okay. Like, I get that there are things that can absolutely offend someone, but I think a lot of the times
just kind of
it's okay to just be like, candy corn is the best.
Right.
And if you hate it, you hate it. But like at the end of the day, it's still just
energy.
Candy.
Yeah, it's fine.
But like, I just think that we have such a culture now where like that is becoming so I see it all the time in content that
where people are just kind of hedging their bets.
Oh my gosh, so much.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Really?
Even just like, I would say,
interesting.
I feel like I just saw one recently, like in a fashion video where it was like a trend and it was like, well, I don't like the trend, but it's okay if you do. And I can see why you would like it because it could look good and blah, 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 blah. And then they just did this whole run around being like, okay, moving on.
You know what? I actually think I know why they're doing this.
Why?
Because in certain situations, I have done similar-ish things in older content. And I almost guarantee you this is why they're doing it. Because they say the thing.
Yeah.
And then in their mind, they're going, this is the comment someone's going to leave. So they answer that comment.
Yeah.
And then this is the comment that person's going to leave. Let me answer that comment. Oh, and this is the comment. And let me answer that comment. So basically, they're trying to answer the comments before they're left.
Yeah.
By saying, well, it's okay if you don't, but if you do, but if you don't, but if you do, but if you don't.
And then nobody cares and nobody comments.
And nobody comments, which is almost worse.
I think it's 1,000 times worse.
Yeah.
And I get not wanting to hurt someone's feelings, but if you do, it's totally fine to just be a human and be like, hey, sorry, I didn't mean something by it.
About liking candy corn, then you probably need to be watching something else.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not apologizing for it.
Ridiculous. Why?
That's where we were talking about dips in the retention graph, but let's talk about the intros of retention graph.
Okay, that's great.
Because
intros are important.
I feel like this is a real hyperfixation for so many creators where it's like even people who would come into coaching and be like, I just got to work on my retention. I got to work on my first 30 seconds. I got to work on my hook. I got to work on my intro because it feels like there's so much pressure on that like the rest of the video like solely revolves around that moment and what that percent looks like and what that drop off looks like.
So let's talk about a couple of things that are real and then you can as a viewer can consider these things into what you think is important. Here's a real thing. If people are watching on desktop, and I do this, if you mouse over, your video starts playing and a subtitle shows over top of it. So I believe this comes from back in the day when you used to hover over and people would hard code in the subtitles, but now YouTube kind of does it for you. So what people are doing, and what I'm doing, same thing, is I've seen the title and thumbnail. I'm now hovering over it. I'm not even fully committed.
Whoa. You have a hover step?
I hover. and I wait to see what it said.
Video.
Like, what's going on here?
On
Bro, I've seen so many back in the day before I was a creator and I was just a viewer, I hated seeing a thumbnail where I didn't see anything that was in the thumbnail in the video. That upset me.
Okay, go back to this hover though. I'm
I
super
hover all the
curious
time
about this.
So when I'm on desktop,
What are you looking at for the hover?
I'm just trying to see what's going on.
Okay.
So like if I see a video that's like I don't know, 12 ways to be the best person you can be. I'm like, all right, let me put my mouse over top of it. Let me see what she says in the very beginning of the video and what kind of visuals are going on.
Interesting.
I only hover for like maybe 10, 15 seconds because I can read what they're saying because it's all there. YouTube's, putting the subtitles up. And if it's good enough, then I'll click.
Then you get do you rewind?
Sometimes, but I mean, for the most part, when you click it, it's already to where you.
No, that's why I'm saying. Like if I hover
I
and then I click, I go back.
I sometimes do, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that I'm not the only one doing this. The reason I think that is because the subtitling wasn't always there, but now it is. So I believe, and Todd Dupre from YouTube has said that like this hover thing is a new kind of. It's not a click-through rate. They don't even have a metric that shows to us, which they should get around to doing, and maybe they will one day.
Who's hovering?
Who's hovering before they click?
Your
but
hover
that's important.
percentage.
But that's important because if I see the title thumbnail and I'm like, I'm almost committed, but I need to see what's going on. I wish
that would be way better than our retention graphs, to be honest.
It would be. It'd
because
be more significant.
It's just like it's that final step where it's like you had your opportunities. This was the final straw, and they still didn't click.
Wow, you just broke my brain. That's a great idea. Like
So,
they hovered and didn't click.
Yeah.
The hover did not click.
Yeah. So we're talking title, thumbnail, and that opening hook. Like they were all not strong enough.
I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to clip this part out and I'm going to send it to Renee Ritchie to have him watch this part.
Okay, Renee.
So I think that's
get at me.
What a cool hit me up. Well, I have his number. So, but I think that would be a really interesting thing because it would tell us if our hooks are working. So you get to see the click.
It'll tell us if our hooks are hooking. If it's complementing.
If you're professional hooking.
Yeah.
I think because you can kind of see that in the retention graph. Someone actually clicks through, right?
Yeah.
This is a different person. This is a person that's almost committed.
Yeah.
But they're just trying to decide whether or not they want to go. It is like, is your hook really good?
Yeah.
Did it convince? But did it push them over the edge? Because a person that's clicked was convinced by your thumbnail and title. For me, that's a different person than someone who's hovering. A hoverer hasn't decided. A clicker has decided.
Yeah.
Whether
they click off or not
is a different story.
They were like, okay.
They were committed. I want to know the people that are on the fence, did I convince them or not? That would be a cool metric.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Renee.
Yeah.
All right.
It's an interesting one. So now we just see when people click in and they click off, which you're going to see no matter what. I've yet to see a retention graph with 0 dip from the intro.
Yeah, impossible.
Like, we're not looking for an actual straight line. Like that, I've never seen that. I would love if there is some YouTube, like, world-breaking retention graph where it's just, like, straight across. It was the best video ever.
Like, no one's ever clicked
Nobody's
off.
ever clicked off. Nobody's accidentally clicked out nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, impossible. Impossible. All right. So that was a lot. Let's get into our little fun little bit here. I believe the last time we tried some candy that I liked. What do you have for me today?
Yeah. Let's see.
Because we are an unofficial candy podcast. We hope that you enjoy.
I actually have a candy. What time are we at, actually?
We're good. Yeah, we're good.
We're what?
We're at 39. Yeah, we're good. We are good.
And retention graph I thought was going to be the most difficult.
No. I told you. See, you worry about things. I'm not worried at all. Like, we just talk.
I have never had these, but these are.
What is that?
Warhead.
Okay.
Taffies.
I'm aware of Warhead.
Tropical fusion. Yeah, I saw regular Warheads.
But I don't think I've ever had a Warhead.
You never had a Warhead?
I don't think so.
Oh my God, that was like mine and my sister's favorite candy growing up. Warheads.
I've heard so much about your sister, not only in all these podcasts, but like outside of it. She sounds fascinating.
My sister's awesome.
She sounds fascinating.
That's why. Yeah. Okay. Do
all
you
right,
want? Are they different? I guess.
I want
Paradise Punch.
That sounds like me.
Or Citrus Surf.
Those both sound great. Give me one or the other.
I feel like these are gonna be I'll give you blue because obviously
I
blue
like
is
blue.
always.
I
No,
love
wait.
blue.
You said you like green, don't you?
I like blue and green. Blue and green are my favorite
oh,
colors.
you can get. I have
like
more
blue.
than in the bag.
All right, so what was the remind me?
I'll try
what
the
was
same
the
one
thing
as you.
of
Paradise
warheads?
Punch.
Was it that they were hot or something? Or
They're sour.
oh,
They were sour. They're coated in like citric acid. They're literally.
that sounds terrible. Okay,
It does sound so much worse.
sounds really bad. Okay,
But these are taffy. So I was like, it's so funny too. I almost got the warheads, but I was like, oh, everybody's had a warhead.
Yeah, I don't think
Little
I
do
have
I know.
these look good though. Actually, these look good.
I'll bring warheads for the next one.
Yeah.
And then I was also like, these might be a little less sour than like a regular warhead.
Very plasticky, but the flavor's good. But it's like plastic.
Oh, it's very plasticky.
And very plasticky. Can you look up the percentage of plastic in this?
Well, I can almost promise there's definitely red 40 in here.
Anyway,
Oh, yeah. We go for the healthy stuff around here.
what does it say?
Red 40.
Is that one of the things that's going to be banned at the end of the year? I think it is.
Why is it so hard to eat?
Oh, it's very hard to eat.
It's like kind of making me drool a little
It
bit.
doesn't go away. Right. Well, if you like the podcast, of course, you can always leave us.
Wow.
I can't do the outro.
Oh my gosh. Did you put the whole thing? Did you just commit to the whole thing?
I didn't know you weren't supposed to. Are you not supposed to?
I don't know. I've never had them before, but I just took a bite.
This is very difficult. All right. If you're new here, I don't know that you're here anymore.
It's an ASMR channel now. I'm Travis eating taffy.
But
We
please like and
understand if you
subscribe.
don't come back.
I could totally understand if you never come back. That thing is stuck. We'll see you. Jen, tell them goodbye.
All right. We'll see you in the next episode, but don't forget to leave us a 5-star review only. And actually, I think the next episode, we're going to kind of be going over some things about ourselves as creators.
Exposed.
Exposed.
See you in that one.